My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. I'll do it, my friends. I'm just trying to make you a little money. My job's not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. Nvidia. Own it, don't trade it. That's been my mantra both for the show and the CNBC Investing Club. Other than Apple, it's the only stock I've ever said that about in decades. And today you saw why. Yes, today, Nvidia soared 24%, or $75. The largest single one-day move in the history of large capitalization stocks. It's a reminder that even in the choppiest of markets, which we have, some companies can transcend the madness even of Washington. And if they do well enough, they can color the whole tape. And that's how we ended up a day where the Dow dipped 35 points, S&P gained 0.88%, but the tech-heavy NASDAQ surged 1.71%. Aided, yes, by Nvidia and its multiple billion-dollar clients. There's so many companies that work with this company. Lots of people have asked me how I knew to anoint Nvidia as own it, don't trade it, along with Apple. First, before anybody accuses me of hubris, sure, I identified two of the greatest stocks of all time before they became great for the Chapel Trust. But I've also picked some stocks that I'm not proud of. And the pain they inflict,
the house of pain,
is with me day and night. I explain and own up to any loser, though. And you can see the whole thing, warts and all, by joining the Investing Club. It can be very embarrassing to admit a stock mistake. But I'm proud I am one of the few who shines the light on them, even as I wish, of course, I didn't make them in the first place. That said, sometimes winning in a stock I like as much as Nvidia requires a gigantic amount of fortitude. It requires an almost insane degree of commitment. For example, I renamed my dog Nvidia as a badge of fealty to the company. More important, it requires you to believe that not all businesses are created equally. Some are better than others. Now, I know that may sound painfully obvious, but it really isn't. Remember, there's a whole industry of people, the largest and most virulent, who tell you it's impossible for you to reliably pick winners, that you're not smart enough, that you should just park all your money in index fund because you don't know how to do it. People harp on this notion of what's called now single stock risk didn't exist in the 80s, where if you even attempt to find the next Nvidia, you're considered to be dead wrong. They say it's impossible, so just try to mirror the market by owning all 500 stocks, the S&P 500, both good and bad, except mediocrity. I don't dislike index funds. I'm in them myself. But you know what? This particular part of the philosophy of stocks is stupid. Some companies are indeed better than others. Their stocks tend to do better than others. And often, it's actually not that hard to tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones, despite what so many people, some good, some not so good, some very self-serving, tell you. Nvidia, in particular, was, I think, extremely gettable for two simple reasons. First, there's always been a deep moat around the company. In this case, the moat's name is Jensen Huang. He's the predictably fabulous CEO. I compare him to Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. We trust a coach like Reid to regularly pull off miracles. Why can't we trust a visionary CEO with a great track record to do the same? I also call him Da Vinci because he's the most well-rounded individual I have ever met in my life. Well-rounded genius, I should say. For me, Nvidia was gettable for the simple reason that other than in one moment where it simply couldn't hide its greatness from the crypto maniacs who use Nvidia's graphics cards to mine Ethereum, it always started out looking expensive but turned out to be dirt cheap. Always, we remember the process. The most reliable predictor of higher stock prices is whether the company can crush Wall Street's earnings estimates. The consensus going into this report was that Nvidia would generate about $7 billion in revenue this quarter. Turns out they're on track to make $11 billion, $4 billion more than people thought. I've never seen anything like it. It means the analyst projections were way short of reality. And that's how you get this kind of 24% rally in the stock. It's such a huge company. How did Nvidia pull this one off with such a spectacular beat? One that everyone in the business was shocked to see. Everyone. Well, once again, Jensen Huang disrupted the world of technology. He came up with a new way of digital thinking that enables accelerated computing and generative AI process using Nvidia's proprietary H1 chips, among others, that his team designed and they're truly special. These are graphics cards, not traditional CPUs, something Jensen did to get around this old Moore's Law. That's a rule that said chips will only double in power every 2 years, and that it's pretty much, let's just say it's always supposed to happen until it stopped. See, Jensen told me years ago that Moore's Law was dead, because he came up with a way to make graphics cards that were more powerful and even more efficient, even if they were bigger, because there was increasingly no benefit to shrinking semiconductors. The modern giant advantages were over. The reception over his highly efficient, energy-conserving, because this man cares more about waste than anyone I ever met, high-end cards was insanely strong. The big boys, think Alphabet, Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, all understood that if you use Nvidia's chips, you can speak in the vernacular of ChatGPT or any of the artificial intelligence languages that are being developed. I say speak in the vernacular because that's what generative AI literally does. If you have enough Nvidia cards put together, you can enable all this incredible artificial intelligence stuff that everybody's so excited about doing now. Best of all, there is absolutely zero competition, none. I've never seen anything like it. It's a monopoly by genius. Or, as Jensen's saying, we have more than $1 trillion worth of computing power right now in all those data centers. Those machines in there are equivalent of the iPhone 4. NVIDIA's just created the iPhone 14. So none of the new apps that, like ChatGPT, can run on the old hardware, meaning everything has to be upgraded. It's a 10-year upgrade cycle. Hence why all the major players are desperately trying to buy NVIDIA's most powerful chips. Otherwise, they will be left behind. And I'm saying left in the dust. Now, normally a tech company might have something in beta that can be tested over a few years' time, maybe a year's time at lucky. And then, well, perhaps it can move at scale. Probably it can't. The yield's not that great. But all throughout the period where semiconductor companies were moaning there was so little business last year, what was Jensen doing? He was ordering H100s by the thousands from any semiconductor plant he could find, including the massive Taiwan semiconductor fabs, the world's largest. He was procuring a huge number of H100s, betting that he'd be right, stockpiling, procuring, ready for demand. The result, he has all the world needs, and he's got them in 6 weeks' time, not 6 years, 6 weeks. Hence the big beat, because he can ship in gigantic volume right now. Now back to NVIDIA, my dog. My dog's original name was Everest. He was a mutt saved from Tennessee Kill Center. He was my buddy, and he answered to me, especially when I had a steak in my hand. Using the same slate of food, I renamed him NVIDIA because every time I met Jensen, he had something new, something that allowed him to crush the estimates just like he did last night, and something that made me smile. Jensen gave Everest, not me, but Everest, an identity card in case you wanted to drop by NVIDIA's office. Now, I did have an inkling a couple of times ago that this H100 would be used when I went out to NVIDIA's world headquarters, and Jensen wanted to show me something. He said I should ask this machine, not that I could tell it was a machine, to draw anything that I wanted in my brain. What was I wanting? I said, knowing it's Cramer fave Cezanne, painted still lifes, I asked the machine to paint me a Cezanne seascape. Challenge the darn thing. 30 seconds later, I have one. Kind of like Cezanne Cribbin from Monet, though. I came back and told everyone what happened. I told Faber right there, right over there. I said, you wouldn't believe it. You got to see it. You got to see it. And then, like, he made one that looked like me. He made one that had me in shakes at the Globe Theater to watch Henry IV Part 2. I mean, it was commercial. It was impossible, except for Jensen. Then one day, we got some haiku written by this ChatGPT, and that was all she wrote. And by the way, Jensen was in on that back in 2017. Jensen knew. He knew. He had the cards ready for him. When all Wall Street, all of them, Wall Street finally came around to generative artificial intelligence. He was so far behind. They're so far behind him. We're now in a new age of computing, hence the biggest percentage gain for a giant company in the whole history of the market. Bottom line, NVIDIA is the rescue mutt in... Well, he's in dog heaven right now. And NVIDIA, the shareholders base, as my late mom would say, they're in heaven on earth. Frank in Michigan, Frank!
Mr. Cramer, I'm so excited to speak with you. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
First, I want to give you a quick tip. Go long on the Detroit Lions this year. They're going to be the Nvidia.
I hear, actually, you're the second person who told me that in the last day, so I'm going to have to be a believer of that. What's going on?
Okay, well, I initially bought shares in BJ Wholesale at $28 and have been adding shares on every large pullback, and it's been working out pretty good. With them growing, from the East Coast with 237 stores and a larger footprint going west, they're profitable. They got a similar membership model as Costco. Should I be adding while they're down?
No, I didn't even like the quarter. I've got to tell you something. That Costco quarter is being undersold. Right now, as we speak, people are selling it. You know why? Because they don't know what they're doing. They should go to a Costco. Get a black card. Get a black card and watch your life change before you. Hey, let's go to Valerie in Florida. Valerie.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Val, what's up?
Hi. I'd like to hear your take on Nike.
Okay, so Nike's right now caught in China. Let's say purgatory. People think that it's being hurt in China. I will tell you this. John Donahoe spoke at the CEO inaugural council, and I've got to tell you, he sounded darn confident. I don't think this stock's going to stay down for long. It's having a problem. They're too smart. Hey, why don't we go to Bob in Connecticut? Bob!
Jimmy, booyah, baby.
Booyah,
Look,
Bob.
I got a train wreck. I'm down 72% in Generac. I should have called you a year ago. What do I do now?
You can't sell it down here. You can't sell it. But this whole cohort, look, even Interface, which is a great company, has been struggling. A lot of these companies turn out to be a little more finance-oriented. They tend to be really levered to rates. I don't want you to sell it now, though, because if rates start going down, that stock is going to start going up. Now, I have been telling you to own Nvidia, not trade it. And boy, the club members ever know it because I hammered their head every single day. And if you ever need a reason to listen, well, just look at today's historic move. Well, man, money tonight. Nvidia may have garnered the headlines yesterday, but don't forget all the other tech companies that reported last night, including Splunk. I'm talking the CEO after orders. Then Zoetis kind of falling out after favor after Investor Day. But could it be a cash cow for your portfolio? I got the CEO. And as the home builders continue to reach new highs, I'm eyeing under the radar way to play the strength, and it's filled with technology. I'll reveal the name when I sit down with the CEO. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.